Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Welcome again to another Seaside meeting. My name is Toastmaster Malik. I am the Zoom master for today, stepping in for Toastmaster Richard. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. My name is Toastmaster Malik. I am the Zoom master for today, stepping in for Toastmaster Richard. Just to do some quick housekeeping, I would like us all to put our mics on mute if you're not speaking. To put our mics on mute, you can, on the bottom left of your screen, you would see something like a microphone, right? If it is active, you see a green color flashing there, so showing that you're speaking. So you can click on it to mute your mic so that you will not have interference with the meeting. We have other buttons like the reaction button. Please do use it and then show some reactions on comments and speeches that the speakers are giving today. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our Seaside Club president, who is a mentor to me, a brother, and a financial expert, I'll call him. He is none other than Toastmaster Ibrahim Sawane. Toastmaster Ibrahim Sawane, the virtual lectern is yours.
Sorry, I wasn't good. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Pamalik Ba, for stepping in for Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Richard and Ebube. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to another meeting of Seaside Toastmasters Club.
Good afternoon.
This is in the month of May 2021. As we discussed, for those of you who were here last week, our theme for this month is about leadership. And we picked this for quite a number of reasons, but I will give you two. One, when I look at it deeper, I think Toastmasters is more about leadership than communication. And I will tell you why. Because leadership, one of the number one qualities of a leader is communication. So communication is like a subset of leadership. But being curious, I now went ahead and find these two words on Google this morning. I realized that people are searching more about communication than leadership. There was about 2.6 billion on leadership, 2.6.9 on leadership, whereas we are about 2.7 on communication. And I asked, why would this thing happen? And I come to conclude that it's because people are having more problem with communication than in leadership. I believe if any of us find out, if they say, come and be a leader in your compound, let's start it from there, in your house, they say you are the leader, or some of us are saying we are the leaders of our house, it's okay. But when you come to communicate, we probably don't communicate very well with our partners, or we don't communicate even with our kids in the right way. And it's not only in the house. Come to the office. There are people there in the office, they are in a very good position, they have the leadership roles already, but they can't communicate. So leadership itself is not about the role. It's not about the title. It's about the ability to influence people to follow you on the direction you want to achieve. And you can't influence a group of people, complex social beings, without having a touch on how do you communicate to them. So communication is part of leadership. The second reason why we picked leadership as an important theme for this month, this is second to last month for this Toastmasters year. For the members of Seaside, we know that we are going to have our election end of this month. We need to choose a set of leaders that will turn around this club into another phase, 2021, 2022. We therefore have to remind ourselves that leadership is a very important quality that we all need to pursue. And that takes us to the quote we are using from our, sorry, my voice is breaking there, from our own Nigerian brother, an international author and leadership coach, Maxwell Uber, who says that leadership begins with attitude, not ambition. And this is very important. If it begins with attitude, that means for you to be a good leader, for you to be that exceptional leader, it has to show in your attitude first. It's not you having saying that I have the ambition to be a great leader, like maybe Jack Welch of GE. You have to show it. And the only way to show your attitude is by action. So I'm encouraging everyone, when the opportunity arises for you to take that leadership role, step in. That's the example of Pamalik Bade. He is not the Toastmaster, the sergeant at arm on our agenda, but he stepped in. And I can tell you more people are going to do the same thing because that's what we believe in the Toastmasters platform. Good afternoon once again, our guests and members. In every Toastmasters meeting, there is always a Toastmaster of the day. If this is your first time, the Toastmaster of the day will explain to you how we run the meeting. But one thing I can tell you, he or she is like the MC. I would say it's the chairman, if you want to call it, of today's meeting, the procedures, everything, he or she will coordinate it. And today, we have one of our exceptional Toastmasters to be our Toastmaster of the day. When I say one of, because he's a member of Seaside, but I also meant the district, the division, the area, the Toastmaster International. And I will tell you why. This gentleman has virtually played all the leadership roles in Seaside Toastmasters Club, whether it's about being a president, the PRO, the secretary. He has played all the major roles you can think about. He didn't stop there. He moved to the area level. He didn't stop there. He's now at where? The divisional level, as the club director for Division F. That shows you that he has the attitude to be a great leader. Because leadership is a journey, it's not an event where you said, I've done. He is a husband of one, a father of two, a petroleum engineer. I like the background. Turned first into financial service solution provider. And today, he is a network marketer because of what his attitude about life. It's not where you start, it's the journey you are pursuing. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and guests, let's welcome our own Toastmaster John Onumia, the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. It's a delight to be here. My day started on such a high. I had a volleyball friendly competition and we won. I started with one family and here I am with another family. I am thoroughly excited. Dear Toastmasters and guests, this is Seaside Toastmasters, and it's a privilege to be the Toastmaster of the day. As I love to do at every Toastmasters meeting, if I'm the Toastmaster of the day, I lay down some ground rules. Yes, I lay those rules down so that we can optimize our session. First, if you're not speaking, please remain muted. Second, if you can, go somewhere where we can turn on the camera. We want to see each other. It's not the same thing staring at a blank screen or a screen that has your beautiful or handsome pictures. Let's see your faces. Third, please engage in the meeting. First, look at the reaction buttons. Let's use them. When people are introduced, use those reaction buttons. You can try them out now. Please, can we use the reaction buttons? Use them, use them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When people are introduced, use them. Let's know that you're there. You actually add energy to the meeting. Whenever someone speaks, they give a speech, go to the chat box and type what you thought about the speech, what you loved about the speech. We want your feedback. You are important at this meeting, even if your name is not written on the agenda. Please, do I have your promise that you're going to do those?
I can't hear TM John anymore.
Use the chat box. Let's see. Do I have your promise that you will do those things? Chat box, I'm waiting for you. Waiting for you. Let's see. No one. Okay, fantastic. Let's move right along. Dear Toastmasters and guests, I want to promise you 3 things today. First, you're going to learn at least one thing that is new or be reminded of something you already knew. Second, you're going to have fun. For those of you that mistakenly typed 77 instead of 66 as the ID because you wanted to go to an 01 there, I'm sorry, this is not it. This is Toastmasters, but you are still going to have fun. And third, you have the opportunity to network with incredible minds before this meeting is over. That is my promise, and at the end, we'll check to see if I fulfill that promise. Moving right along to the general evaluator, who is going to anchor the evaluation portion of this meeting. Our general evaluator for today is an associate engineer with My Energy Services Limited. He is involved with EPC, engineering, procurement, construction projects in the company. He's passionate about his professional goals and development. Earlier, he apologized for being busy, and the truth is, when you're good, you are busy. Our general evaluator is good. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, please welcome to our screens none other than Toastmaster Ayola Fadeyi. Toastmaster Ayola, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster John Olumia, for that very warm introduction. I'm here this afternoon amongst you, dear audience, that I'll be acting the role of general evaluator. So you may want to know what exactly does the general evaluator does. My task is very simple. It's just for me to give a report of how we've fared so far in the meeting, and of course, introduce other evaluators that would evaluate the speakers and the meetings, just like we have the grammarian, we have the timekeeper, and also have the hour counter. On my list as a team is the grammarian, and I would hand over the virtual lecture to the Toastmaster, who also doubles as our grammarian of the day. TM John Onomia is our grammarian. Over to you.
Thank you so much. I didn't see anyone actually give me an applause. I don't know if I offended people with the earlier introduction. Thank you. Use the reaction buttons. Feel free. Good afternoon once again, Toastmasters and guests. At Toastmasters, we get to wear multiple hats, and somehow they seem to fit. We're here to learn. I have the privilege of being the grammarian as well. And as the grammarian, I'm going to do 3 things. First, introduce you to the word of the day, and I'll keep track of how often you use the word of the day. Second, take note of good, great grammar, and I'll highlight that at the end of the meeting when I give my report. And third, take note of improper grammar, and I'll come back and also state that so that we can improve upon that and hopefully eliminate it from our communication. The word of the day is metaglobalize, which means to confuse, and the synonyms include bewilder, mystify, or perplex. I assure you, at Toastmasters, our aim is not to metaglobalize you, but to help you grow. An example, aside from the one I just gave, speakers are being discouraged from metaglobalizing their audience while giving a speech at Toastmasters. Now, I know it's a mouthful, but just the process of getting your mind to try and use that word is how you grow. Growth happens at those challenging moments. And I'm sure at this meeting, with the caliber of men and women we have, we are going to use the word of the day. Over to you, the general evaluator of the meeting.
Thank you very much. I hope you will not meta-globalize us with all the grammars you've been using since morning. It's my pleasure to introduce to us our next role player of the day in person of Tim Aisha Karim. Tim Aisha is a certified project management professional who works as a senior project associate in First Bank of Nigeria Limited, implementing the bank's digital and IT strategic projects. She has garnered over 7 years work experience working with 3 different financial organizations in Nigeria. She has skills in product development, service management, and project management. Aisha has a master's in information systems management from the University of Sheffield and a BSc in computer information systems from Babcock University. In her spare time, she likes to travel, visiting places, eat out, and dance. She also likes to volunteer her time to impactful endeavors. It's my pleasure to welcome to the virtual lecture our art counter of the day, TM Aisha. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Yamaila. As the art counter of the day, I will be taking notes of past fillers used throughout the session. So past fillers are words like you know. So try not to use so many of those words because I'll be watching you and I'll give the report at the end of the session. Thank you so much. Back to you, General Evaluator.
All right, thank you very much for explaining your role to us. Next on the theme is our timekeeper of the day, TM Adekale Adegbite. TM Adekale is an engineer in the oil and gas industry. He currently works as a lead surface facilities operation and maintenance in the JV operations, JV joint venture operations of NNPC, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. Okay, hold on, I mixed out my script. All right. He has been involved in the delivery of many oil and gas projects with immense benefits to the country. He is a registered engineer with Korea and a member of Nigerian Society of Engineers. Join me to welcome Tim Adekale Adegbite to the virtual lecture so that he can introduce himself, so that he can introduce his role. Thank you. Tim Adekale, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. General. I was almost metaglobalized by that wonderful introduction. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. One of the skills we learn in Toastmasters is how to organize a meeting and deliver a speech within strict allotted time. The role today is to keep track of the prepared speeches segment, the table topic responses, and the speech evaluation segment. To do that, I shall be using color signals in the meeting. For the prepared speech segment today, they are expected to last 5 to 7 minutes. So when it is 5 minutes, the color green shall be displayed, which means you have spent the minimum expected time for the speech and you are actually within time. And when it is 7 minutes, the yellow color will be displayed, which means your time is almost up. And at 7 minutes, the red color will be displayed, which means your time is up and you should have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. For the table topic responses, they are expected to last 1 to 2 minutes, with 1 minute as minimum expected time. So when it's 1 minute, the green color shall be displayed as explained earlier, and at 1 minute 30 seconds, the yellow color shall be displayed. At 2 minutes, the red color shall be up, which means your time is up, and you have 30 seconds to wrap up the response to the table. For the speech evaluation segment, they are expected to last 2 to 3 minutes, and the minimum time for the evaluation should be 2 minutes. So at 2 minutes, the green color shall be displayed. It means you are on time. And at 2 minutes, 30 seconds, the yellow color shall come up, which means your time is almost up. And at 3 minutes, the red color shall be displayed, which means your time is up and you have 30 seconds for evaluation. At the appropriate time, I shall be called to give my report. I hope we are going to have a great meeting, and I hope speakers shall metaglobalize us in the. Thank you very much. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, our honorable timekeeper, for explaining your role in such a simple manner. I hope that the audience were not metaglobalized by that explanation of your role. To wrap up this section, the general evaluator's main job is to review and assess the club meeting from time people arrive to the end of the program's educational components and report our findings. General evaluation would highlight how members have performed in their meeting roles, including preparation, organization, timeliness, enthusiasm, and carry out the duties themselves. At the end of the meeting, when called upon to do so by the Toastmaster of the day, myself and my team will be coming back to the virtual lectern to deliver our report on each person's role. Over to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, the General Evaluator. You and your team have done a great job, and I'm sure if there was anyone who was metagroupalized at the beginning, now that is not the situation. As we proceed, I'll briefly give a breakdown of the segments we have. First, we have prepared speech segments. Second, we have table topics. Today, we also have induction, and we're also going to have a portion where we get to introduce our guests. If there are any guests in the room, please can you just type in the chat box, I am a guest. Perhaps put your email address and phone number if you want us to keep in touch with you. That will also make it easier to introduce you when it's time for introducing guests. For those who happen to jump into the meeting and you didn't start at the onset, let me briefly give a breakdown of who we are once again, just to ensure you're not metagroupalized. We are Toastmasters. Here, we aim to improve your communication and leadership. Everyone that comes to the screen is trying to improve themselves. We are not perfect, but we are growing because we are leaders. And you need to learn to lead yourself first before you can lead anyone. And let me just give out this greeting to certain people. Toastmaster Olivia, thank you. I love how you're using those reaction buttons. Please continue. You are leading us, and the rest of us, we can learn from her. Thank you so much. Even though we can't see your beautiful face, we're seeing those reaction buttons there. Well done. Can you see that? That's beautiful. Please, let me just give you this in case you think I'm joking. Can you see that? Thank you. Now I'm moving right along to the prepared speech segment. Who is excited? Let me see it in the chat box. Who is excited? I am thoroughly excited. I saw the speakers and I am elated. I'm sure once they are done, you understand and not be metagroupalized because of how excited I am right now. Excellent. Let's proceed to the first speaker. Our first speaker for today is someone who joined Toastmasters in November 2020. He's a land surveyor who loves playing chess, watching football, and watching sitcoms. Oh, I love watching sitcoms as well. We need to hook up and watch some sitcoms. But before he comes up, I'd love to first introduce his evaluator who will give us the objectives of his speech. His evaluator is a brand and digital marketing expert who currently heads the media and communications team at a consulting firm and runs a branding and marketing company alongside. How does she do it? She was a former vice president, public relations, and program quality director at Toastmasters. When you're good, more work is thrust upon you. She loves her job, enjoys great conversations, and hanging out with friends. Since we haven't hung out, maybe I'll say we're not friends, but it's okay, I still love you. Get Toastmasters and guests with a virtual round of applause. Please welcome to the screen, Toastmaster Folu Olumideko. Over to you, Toastmaster Folu, to give us the objectives of the speech.
Hi. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Thank you so much, Toastmaster John, for the wonderful introduction. The purpose of your speech, Toastmaster Ibrahim, the purpose of the project is for the member to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, as well as to learn, practice, and refine how he or she uses nonverbal communication when delivering a speech. So I'll be on your nonverbal and verbal communication skills. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Folu. Dear Toastmasters and guests, from Pathways Presentation Mastery, the project category Effective Body Language Level 2, Project 2, titled The Fall of Julian. Please, with a virtual round of applause, welcome to our screens none other than Toastmaster Ibrahim Ajani. Toastmaster Ibrahim Ajani, over to you.
Last week, when I was delivering a speech, my phone crashed. It broke my heart, and I'm sorry that you all had to witness a broken speech. Now, speaking of things that crashed, today I'm going to tell a story about a young girl. Her name is Julian. Her name is Julian Cupcake. And if Harry Potter was the boy who lived, Julian Cupcake was the girl who lived. Harry Potter, the golden boy of the magical world, had magic. Julian Cupcake knew no magical spells, had no magical wand, but that doesn't make our story any less magical. Harry Potter, during his hours of need, always had his friends, the brilliant Hermione Granger and the devoted Ronald Weasley. Julian Cupcake, during her hours of greatest need, was alone and had no one. Harry Potter faced the epitome of evil, Lord Voldemort, and won. Julian Cupcake fell 3,000 meters from a plane crash, crashed on the floor of the Amazon rainforest, and survived for 10 more days without food, without water, with broken bones and broken spirit, but her soul was untouched. And to make things worse, she had just lost her mother in the same plane crash. Harry Potter is a fictional character created by talented British author J.K. Rowling. The story of Harry Potter covers 7 different books, from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stones to Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows. Julian Cupcake is a real human being. She was born in Peru to German parents, and she was the sole survivor of a plane crash that claimed the lives of 91 people that were on board. The name of the plane crash was the Flight 508 Lancer plane crash. The Toastmasters today for the Toastmasters and their guests. When Julian Cupcake woke up on the Christmas Eve of 1971, she was in like spirit. She was excited. She was optimistic about the future. She had no clue that an accident that would change the course of her life forever would happen to her just before noon of that day. Julian and her mom booked a flight from Lima to Pucallpa. Lima is the capital of Peru. Peru is a country in the northwestern part of the continent of South America. Julian was excited about the journey to Pucallpa. Pucallpa being another city in Peru. So, the purpose of the journey was for Julian and her mom and her dad to meet up and have a Merry Christmas together in Pucallpa. Julian's dad was a biologist, and Julian's mom was an ornithologist. An ornithologist is somebody who is an expert in birds. The biological nature of her parents' profession would later come in handy for Julian during her hours of greatest needs. So back to the Christmas Eve of 1971, Julian and her mom boarded the flight. The plane took off successfully. And a few moments after before they were scheduled to arrive in Pucallpa, lightning struck the plane. The plane was struck by lightning, and immediately the engine compartment of the plane caught fire. And as Julian's mom saw the fire, she was like, "Wow, Julian, now it's over." And for Julian's mom, it was over. But for Julian, it was not. Because as Julian was falling from the sky as the plane crashed and the path of the plane parted ways, she had no idea what was happening. As she landed on the floor of the Amazon rainforest, she had no idea what had happened. She had already blacked out. When she woke up the next day, she realized that she was still strapped to her seat. When she checked her wristwatch, she realized that it was Christmas Day and the plane crash had happened just yesterday. She looked around. There was nobody inside. She looked up and noticed that the thickness of the forest canopy would make it almost impossible for anyone to discover her from the sky. So she knew that she was alone. And in order for her to survive, she would have to make her way to safety by herself. But she did not know what direction safety was. So she chose a direction and kept walking. And after walking for a while, she came upon a bag of lollipop. And that bag of lollipop was what served her as food for the next few days. And for water, she had to rely on leaking water on top of leaves. After walking for 3 more days in the forest, she came upon 3 people that were involved in the crash also. But unfortunately for Julian, and unfortunately for those 3 people, they were already dead. So Julian kept walking. As she kept walking, she discovered a river. And now she remembered what advice her father had given her when she was younger, that if she ever was lost in the forest and she discovered a source of water, that she should follow the source of water until she gets to safety. And that's what Julian did. After a few days of wandering in the forest, following the path of the river, she found a boat. And that boat was her first encounter with civilization in her 10 days of being in the Amazon rainforest. As she approached the boat, she noticed a footpath near the boat. So she followed the footpath. As she followed the footpath, she found a hut. It was inside the hut that she spent the night. The next day, she was discovered by some villagers who saw her with her bloodshot eyes and a broken bones and upped her to an hospital. It was at that hospital that Julian was reconnected with her father. Today, Julian Koke is still alive. She is 66 years old, and she wrote a book about the crash titled When I Fell from the Sky. The story of the fall of Julian is a story of hope. It is a story of the struggle for survival. It is a story that shows us that perhaps greatness awaits even after a great fall. Thank you for listening. And back to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Dear Toastmasters and guests, please can we give Toastmaster Ibrahim Ajani a virtual round of applause? Thank you. If you're metaglobalized at this point in your life, he just gave us a story of hope. Thank you so much. I would definitely love to read that book. You can send it to me on WhatsApp. Let me search for it. I'll read that. Hope is always a currency that we need. Dear Toastmasters and guests, please can we send in the chat box message saying what we loved about his speech. Note, no one here is idle. We're all leaders, and we need to take the initiative to encourage those that are willing to grow. Successful people, leaders do not grow alone. And one of the easy ways to do it is to encourage someone. Just put in the chat box, tell him what you loved about his speech, and I am certain it'll encourage him, give him more hope, and also encourage you, give you hope as well. Are we ready for the next speaker? Are we ready for the next speaker? All right, we're moving. Hey, they're coming in. The love notes are coming in. Toastmaster Johnny, make sure you read those love notes. We're moving to the second and the final speech for today. The second speaker is someone I respect. A beautiful lady, her style, elegance. Our current Vice President Education. I'm sure we know who I'm talking about. She's currently a supply chain professional in the FMCG industry. She loves helping people achieve their greatest potential. And yes, she's helping me achieve my greatest potential. She has been in this club for many, many years, took a break, but she said, I'm going to lead myself and improve. And now she's fully back. I'm excited because soon she'll be the president. Her favorite quote is, "Becoming is better than being," by Carol Dweck. Hobbies include reading, traveling, and meeting new people. But before we call her up to give her speech, I would love to call on her evaluator to please give us the objectives of her speech. Her evaluator is a man that likes to put me to shame with his capacity as well as his afro. Because I don't have any hair, he likes to style his afro. It's okay, you do what you can, what you have. He was here with us for a while before he left our shores. This man has technical knowledge, has leadership knowledge, has communication knowledge. Therefore, it is quite apt that he's the one evaluating the speech. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, can we welcome her evaluator to give us the objectives of her speech, Toastmaster Kingsley Madu. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster John. That was a very warm introduction, and I thoroughly appreciated that. When I was called upon to evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Ruth, you can imagine, right? And the thought in my head was, what goes around will always come back around. It is my pleasure this day, therefore, to be evaluating the speech to be given by Toastmaster Ruth. Toastmaster Ruth, the reason why you are giving this speech is because you are expected to deliver a speech that would indicate that you are aware of different ways in which people would express themselves, and more emphasis on the body language and styles that people use, right? We're expecting that at the end of this speech, you would have learned, you would also put into practice, and you would also be able to refine how you present your speeches. It is my pleasure to be evaluating your speech. And at the end of it all, when I'm asked to give my evaluation, I'll be glad to give a non-confusing evaluation of your speech. Toastmaster TM Root, I look forward to being mystified by your speech today. And then with that, I'll hand over back to TM John.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kingsley Madu. I'm sure we'll not be metaglobalized by your evaluation at the end of this. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a speech from the Presentation Mastery Pathway, Effective Body Language, Level 2, Project 2, titled, A Leader I Would Like to Follow. Please welcome to our screens with a virtual round of applause, none other than Toastmaster Ruth Apuka. Over to you, Toastmaster Ruth.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Please, I would like to get a reaction. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good afternoon.
Awesome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
A leader I would love to follow. A leader I would love to follow. Virtually everybody in this room at some point is going to become a leader. In fact, for the fact that you became a Toastmaster, it simply means you want to become a leader, or at least you want to have a skill set that will help you be a good leader. Being a leader is inevitable for most of us, especially if you're a Toastmaster, and for the guests as well. Going through your life activities, you definitely become a leader. So what is a leader? The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines a leader as one who guides other people. The vocabulary.com defines a leader as one who is in charge, as in a boss. A leader is also one that can convince one or two or more people to follow them to wherever they are going to. So I am sure, now that we've gotten the basic definition of a leader out of the way, if you think about it, you know one or two leaders in your life. For me, I've had a series of leaders over the course of my life. Some I know personally, others I know virtually. Virtually, you will say, yes, virtually. If you read books and you watch audios of people that you feel are leaders, you actually have virtual leaders as well. So for me, I was thinking about this speech, like, what are the qualities I would like to see in a leader? And one person came to mind for me. He's late now, but I'm giving this speech in remembrance of him. And that was my dad. Growing up as a child, my dad was always there for me. He knew how to be loving and he knew how to be firm. He can be quite caring, but when he needs to flog you, he definitely will. And there are some qualities about him that I love very much. And a story comes to mind. I think I was about 21 years old. Yeah, 21 years old. I had just finished my NYSC. So you know now, once you're done with NYSC, the next thing is getting to the labor market. So I was just chilling at home. So this very cool evening, my friend Sim calls me. She's like, hello, Ruth. I'm like, Sim, what's up? What's happening? She's like, oh, I'm having a birthday party and I want you to be there. I was like, for sure now. Trust me, I'll be there, man. I was like, but then again, I forgot that I was in my father's house. Okay, so the first step was to convince my dad to allow a 21-year-old girl go for a party. Not just a party, an all-night party. Hey, God. Anyways, I decided to take the risk and ask my dad, So my father was just in his room. So I just walked up to him and knocked on the door. Hello, Daddy. Yes, Ruth. What is it? I wanted to discuss something with you. Of course, you know you can. Go ahead. What is it? You remember my friend, Sim, right? Sim? Yes. Of course. She came to our house the other day. She said, yes, Daddy. She's having a birthday party. So what is the problem, Ruth? Daddy, it's an all-night party, oh. Eh? You say what? All-night party. He thought about it for a second. And he said, go. Huh? I was like, wait, Daddy. All-night party, oh. He said, I say you can go. Ladies and gentlemen, I was shook to the bones. But I was excited. All-night party, I'm going. My mom was livid. She kept on saying, how can you let her go? She's 21 years old. He was like, which do you prefer? That she lies to you and tells you that she's going to auntie this or auntie that house and goes for the party? Or she comes to you directly and say, I want to go for the party. My mom was like, you actually have a point. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, I went for that party. But do you know what happened? 2 hours into the party, I started feeling uncomfortable. My conscience was not okay. I told my friend, Sim, I'm going back home. She was like, but your father gave you freedom now. What is wrong with you? Stay now. I was like, no. Take me back to my house. I'm going back home. 2 hours later, by 11 p.m. that day, I was back home. And once I entered into the door, my father had this smile on his face, like he knew. He said, Ruth, I thought you said you were staying for an all-night party. I was like, Daddy, my conscience did not carry me. So when I thought about the fact that the man that gave birth to me is in his house by 10 p.m., what am I, his daughter, doing outside by 10 p.m.? And he said, that was the point. I wanted you to make that decision and come to that conclusion by yourself. If I had told you, Ruth, don't go for that party, you would have found a way and gone, and you would have kept on going for parties. But now, you have used your own mouth to come to that conclusion. And ladies and gentlemen, he stuck with me because I thought about it. He's actually right. If he had said, don't go for that party, I might have found a way to go for that party. But him now telling me that I should go, and I came to the conclusion that this is not where I should be, I learned 4 things from that encounter. Number 1, and these are the things I would like to see in any leader that will eventually follow, that will still follow. First of all, you should be approachable. If he wasn't approachable, I wouldn't have had the guts to go and ask him to go for an all-night party. And as a leader, you should be approachable. Your followers should feel comfortable bringing any kind of issue to you. Secondly, as a leader, you should empower your people. My father empowered me to make so many decisions over the course of my life because he knew how to make you get the point without using his mouth to tell you that this is the point. So as a leader, empower your people to come to conclusion because eventually you need a successor. And if you have not empowered them, how can they step into your shoes? Thirdly, as a leader, you should be diplomatic. I think he went about in a very diplomatic way. He could have just said, don't go. I am the man of the house. I know what I say you should do. Don't go. And I would have been angry and be feeling pain that he didn't let me go and possibly disobey him. But he allowed me come to that conclusion by myself in a very diplomatic manner. And finally, you should communicate your expectations from your followers very clearly. Let them not be confused that does he want me to go or does he not want me not to go or does he want me to stay? Communicate clearly because if you communicate clearly, there's no confusion. I hope I've been able to convince you to add these qualities to the list of the leaders that you like to follow. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ruth. Please, can we give her a virtual round of applause? Toastmaster Ruth, thank you so much for sharing that story with us. And the reason I'm saying this, personally, I have a daughter that is 2 years old. That is about 19 years before she's 21. And if she's going to ask me that she wants to go for an all-night party when she's 21, I need every second of those 19 years to prepare. So when she asks that question, I'm not metaglobalized by it. So now I am preparing for when she asks that question. Thank you so much. Timer, please, did both speakers keep to time?
Toastmaster of the day, the two speakers kept time.
Thank you so much. Dear Toastmasters and guests, we can send love notes to Toastmaster Ruth via the chat box. Meanwhile, a poll is going to come up. Vote for who you felt was the better speaker. Toastmaster Ibrahim Ajani, who gave the first speech, or Toastmaster Ruth, who gave the second speech. Feel free to use whatever criteria you want to use to vote for your better speaker. I don't know if they have a way of bribing you using food with this virtual space. If that's what they use, please go ahead. If they promised you, Toastmaster Ella is already bribing Toastmaster Ruth with some cake and ice cream, but I'm not sure that'll be filling. It's okay, it works. Please go ahead and vote. The poll will be coming up shortly. We had two speakers, Toastmaster Jani. Toastmaster Jani, don't forget, please vote. The poll is up. Toastmaster Jani, send me the title of that book. I want to read it. I want to add it to my library, increase my hope. Toastmaster Ruth, share some more things about your father, the leader you love to follow, the leader you followed. I want to be a better leader when I grow up. For now, it's okay that I'm not such a great leader. But when I grow up, I want to be a better leader. I need to set the right example for my son and daughter and prepare for that question when they ask the question. As the polls are going and people are voting, I hope you're voting. Please, guests, type in the chat box if you're a guest, because we're moving from the prepared speech portion of this meeting to the portion where we are going to introduce our guests. We need to know who guests are. Just type, I am a guest in the chat box. Please. Okay, someone is saying the poll is not up. I can see it from my end, and I can see people voting. Apparently I don't know if other people didn't see the poll. Someone said they didn't see the poll. And thank you so much, UK, for saying you are a guest. If there are other people besides UK who are guests, please type in the chat box that you're a guest. And I'll be handing over to the Zoom master to handle the introduction of guests. And you can start with our first guest, UK. Other guests, please type in the chat box so that our Zoom master actually knows. Please, can we welcome him with a virtual round of applause? Over to you, Toastmaster Malik.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster John. That was a very exciting segment in that prepared speech segment. So if you are a guest, please indicate on the chat box, I'm a guest. And you can actually rename your name. Being a guest is something something that we welcome in Toastmasters. At least you get that feeling of, how to, speak, give your speech, give an impromptu speech, or when you're called upon to speak, let's say you're in the office or you're walking by, a journalist just stop you and ask you certain questions, you can feel that confidence to speak. So we welcome our guests to, if they're around, you can just indicate you're a guest, and then hopefully you can introduce yourself, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you, Teresa. Teresa is a guest. Thank you very much. Who else do we have here? I had TM John. You said TM UK is a guest, right?
Yes, Toastmaster UK was the first to type that he's a guest, and Toastmaster Teresa said she's a guest, not at Toastmasters, but here. We can start with this Toastmaster UK.
I'm metaglobalized by that TM UK is a guest. So I'll call on our guest. You feel free, just unmute yourself and then tell us who you are, how you get to know about Seaside, and whether you're having fun in this session. Thank you. Let me call on Teresa. Teresa Maduka, are you there? Or let me start with our, okay, fantastic. Teresa.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I'm at work.
No worries, no worries. Welcome to Seaside. Can you please tell us, your name and how you get to know about Seaside Christmas?
Okay, my name is Teresa Maduka. TM John sent me the link, the invite for the meeting.
Fantastic. So how do you see the meeting?
Well, I came in really late when the last speaker was just rounding off, but of course, as every Toastmaster meetings it's always interesting to be a part of it. So
Thank
I
you
know it
very
would have
much.
been interesting before I came in.
That is good to know. Thank you very much. And we hope to give you a better experience as we progress along this meeting. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you too.
All right, do we have another one? Okay, Miss San, we have another guest, Miss San. Miss San, if you're around, please unmute your mic and then tell us who you are and how you get to know about Seaside Toastmasters.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay. My name is Misan. Basically, I found out about Toastmasters a few years ago from a friend who was part of this, not Seaside, but somewhere else internationally. And I had been wanting to join, but I have been procrastinating for a really long time. So far, I've been enjoying it. I wasn't quite sure what it was about, if I was requested to speak, because I'm quite shy, but I'm enjoying it so far, and I look forward to following up in the future and being a part of this going forward. Thanks.
Glad to have you, Miss San. Glad to have you. I think you're in the right place. Thanks for joining in. And hope you will have a wonderful experience as we proceed into the other segments of this meeting. Thank you. Timer, do we still have time to engage other guests?
Toastmaster, we can still use 1 minute. We have 1 minute to.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So do we have another guest here who would like to unmute and then introduce him or herself and let us know how he or she gets to know about Seaside Toastmasters? Do we have any other? I think that's all that we have for today. I'll hand over back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, the Zoom Master. Please, can we give the Zoom Master and our guest a virtual round of applause? Miss San, I don't know if you're trying to meta-globalize us, but I'm confused by what you were saying. You're shy. See the way you spoke. You were so comforted. I heard about Toastmasters several years ago. Someone from this meeting, but I'm shy. I don't like speaking. I hope to join. Come on, Miss San. Who do you think you're deceiving? You speak so well, and I don't know if you're shy, but your shyness is running away slowly. Nice attempt, though. Nice attempt. It didn't quite work for us. Now, moving right along to the evaluation of the prepared speech segment, I'm going to hand over to the general evaluator to anchor that portion of the meeting. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, please welcome back the general evaluator in person of Toastmaster Ayola Fadeyi. Over to you, Toastmaster Ayola.
Thank you very much, the Toastmaster of the day, for navigating through the meeting so far. I'm hearing some background noise there. I wouldn't know whose mic is on. Please, if your mic is on, kindly mute yourself so that the meeting can be free of noises, please. The set at times, can you please act, please? All right, thank you very much. The first evaluator is TM Fulu Olumideko, who will be evaluating TM Ibrahim Ajani. It's my pleasure to welcome TM Fulu to the virtual lectern to evaluate TM Ibrahim.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Good afternoon once again, Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Ibrahim, very well delivered, well done. Okay, so what do I like about your speech? Let me just make that fast. Your confidence was palpable, it was recognizable. You got to the lectern, the virtual lectern. You stood up when you really wanted to express yourself, which was nice. You used physical gestures properly. Your story was intriguing. It was pretty interesting. The story of Julia and the story of Hope. You know, we got it before and we liked it. With the plane crash and meeting people, I liked it. I personally liked it. Your gesticulation was also on point. You used your hands to add more intensity to your speech. It was a little too much, but I'll get there when I'm talking about what I don't like about your speech. Now, over to what I feel you could have done better. So the introduction, I didn't hear an introduction. It felt like was latching onto a moving train. I was lost for the first 5 minutes before I could catch up with what you were saying. So you might want to properly divide your speech into an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. That way it's easier for people to follow you and follow what you're saying. So please work on your introduction. Vocal variety could be better as well. It was the same tone, same cadence. And when the plane crashed, I would have loved to hear some form of vocal variety, your voice going lower, or your voice just, changing and then picking back up when you were talking about hope and stuff. So please work on your vocal variety as well. So I talked about liking the fact that you gesticulated, which was good, but when it gets too much, it becomes distracting. So please gesticulate with purpose is really key. And I would have also liked, because it was about verbal and non-verbal communication, that you paced. I mean, you were standing, so you could have just paced here and there a bit purposefully so that we could get the idea of your speech a bit well. But all in all, it was a good speech. I look forward to listening to your next speech. Very well done. Thank you so much. Over to you, General Evaluator.
All right. Thank you very much, TM Fulu Onumileko, for that very brilliant evaluation of TM Ibrahim's speech. You have not meta-globalized us, I believe. Next is TM Kingsley Madu. TM Kingsley Madu will be evaluating TM Ruth Apuka. TM Kingsley, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, TM Ayola, the General Evaluator. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and guests, there are speeches and then there are speeches. And today I have been mystified by the speech given by our one and only TM Ruth. TM Ruth, you've done fantastic. You've done very well. And I thought to make that very, very clear. Your speech came out with a lot of boldness. Knowing you and how shy you can be, that speech spoke about your boldness. You've got this inner boldness that you need to lean on more. It was fantastic, right? Your face told the story, the smile, the eye movement. That was also very, very beautiful. Your arms also told that story. You were able to let us know what's happening with the way you moved your arms. I could easily tell that there were 4 key people in that story: your friend, your mom, your dad, and yourself. And how could I know? The way you changed your voice, the tone, each time you wanted to say something that all those other 4 people were saying. Toastmaster TM, you have done very wonderful. What can you improve on your speech? I couldn't help but noticing the word just a few times. I thought you were using that, to help you piece together your speech. And so maybe less of that would have given us much more flavor, right, in your speech. Also, I noticed that you had skillfully not used the word of the day in your speech. I would have loved to have heard you use that word of the day in your speech. But overall, the way you closed the speech, really amplified it and drove home the lessons of that speech. And in conclusion, I want to say you're on a roll. Keep going, and I can only look forward to your next speech. Thank you so much, TM Ruth, for that wonderful delivery. Over to you, TM Ayola.
Thank you very much, Kingsley. I'm almost meta-globalized by your evaluation. In truth, all what you've said were quite on point in regards to TM Ruth's speech. I'm also impressed by the quality of our delivery. Now I'll hand over the virtual lecture to the Toastmaster of the day in person of TM John Onumia. You have the floor.
Please, can we put our hands together virtually for the General Evaluator and how well he anchored that segment. Thank you so much to the evaluators for not metaglobalizing us, but ensuring your evaluations were clear and succinct. We could all apply it to our own lives. Now, moving right along to a segment I am delighted to be a part of, induction. Dear Toastmasters and guests, please use the reaction button if you're as excited as I am for the induction. I know Toastmaster Ruth is excited. We love to meet new people. Please use those reaction buttons. Yes, yes, we need more of this. I want to see the new people, get to meet them, get their contact. This is an excuse for me to say, please send me your contacts. I have no idea who you are, but let me not dilly-dally, not to metaglobalize you. Let me hand over to the wonderful Toastmaster who is going to be anchoring this portion of the meeting. The Toastmaster that is going to be anchoring this portion of the meeting is a certified HR professional currently working within the oil and gas industry. She is passionate about human capital development and leverages social media to share knowledge. She enjoys public speaking, good music, and learning new things. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, welcome to our screens, Toastmaster Amarachi Asinobi. Over to you, Toastmaster Amarachi.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster John. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
We can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. All right, so today we're going to be having our induction ceremony for some of the new members that joined within the course of the year. Some joined late last year and some joined earlier this year. So we'll be formally introducing them to club members and Toastmasters system. The whole purpose of carrying out this induction is basically to let them know the club's expectation from them and also to let them know the club's responsibility towards them. So I'm going to be sharing my screen and just introducing them to us. Yeah, and also we'll also be introducing their mentors to them formally. You know, it's important that they know their mentors so that in their journey through Toastmasters, they will not be meta-globalized. Yeah, so it's important that we formally introduce their mentors to them as well. So moving on, our very first inductee is Toastmaster Ibrahim Ajani. He joined Toastmasters late last year, I think November. He's a land surveyor. His Toastmasters goal is to improve his communication skills, to build proactive leadership skills, to explore speaking styles and techniques. And his mentor is our very own president, Toastmaster Ibrahim Sawane. So you're very welcome, Toastmaster Ibrahim Ajani. And well done so far. I mean, you've been giving speeches. You don't even seem like a new member anymore. So welcome to Toastmasters, Seaside Toastmasters. Our next inductee is Toastmaster Fola Alade. Toastmaster Fola Alade is an attorney mediator. His Toastmaster goal is to be the best speaker. And his mentor is our very own Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster John Onumeya. Welcome, Toastmaster Fola Alade. Apparently he's unavoidably absent today because he had another engagement. Yeah, but he's welcome anyway. Our next inductee is Toastmaster Ijoma Oliseku. Toastmaster Ijoma is a utility manager, and her Toastmasters goal is to develop her public speaking and leadership qualities. And she's going to be mentored by Toastmaster Aaron Onyebuchi. You're welcome, Toastmaster Ijoma. Good to have you here. Our next inductee is Toastmaster Uchendu. He joined Toastmasters during our Seaside hangout last year on the beach. And he's an engineer by profession. His Toastmasters goal is to speak properly, to lead people and organizations as well. And he will also be mentored by immediate past president, Toastmaster Aaron Onyebuchi. You're welcome. He's also unavoidably absent today because he had another engagement. Our next inductee is Toastmaster Chinyere Muda Sanusi. She is a banking professional, VP and group head conglomerate. Her Toastmasters goal is to network, to deepen her leadership skills and master the art of public speaking, to impact and to be impacted upon. And she'll be mentored by VPE2, Toastmaster Komiyo Ehua. You're welcome, Toastmaster Chinyere Mudasanusi. Good to have you. Our next inductee is Toastmaster Olivia Arims. Toastmaster Olivia Arims is a HR professional / student. Her Toastmasters goal is to develop her skills to become an effective and confident communicator and to develop meaningful networks. She'll be mentored by my humble self, Toastmaster Marcia Sinovi. You're welcome, Toastmaster Olivia. And last but not the least, we have Toastmaster Noye Obidike. She's an educator and an entrepreneur. Her Toastmasters goal is to improve her public speaking skills and to network. And she'll also be mentored by Toastmaster Komio Ehua. So you're welcome, Toastmaster Noye Obidike. So I'd like to ask that all new members that are present today, kindly put on your videos so that we can see you, can feel your energy and put a face to all of these names. So please turn on your video. I'll be calling on you shortly to recite, the Toastmasters promise and pledge as well. Being a Toastmaster means more than simply making a commitment to self-development. Everyone who joins the Toastmasters Club is making a commitment to the club, to its members, and to the organization as a whole. So I'll be calling on all new members to kindly unmute their mic. What do you pledge to Seaside Toastmasters Club? So at the count of 3, all new members kindly read out what you see on the screen. 1, 2, 3.
As a member of Toastmasters International and Seaside Toastmasters Club, I promise to attend club meetings regularly, to prepare all of my speeches to the best of my ability, basing them on projects in the competent communication and competent leadership manuals, or the advanced communication leadership program manuals, to willingly prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow, to willingly serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so, to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy, to bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters membership offers, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters educational and recognition programs, and to maintain honest and highly ethical standards during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities.
Thank you very much. Kindly mute your mics back, please. So I'll be calling on all the club members to unmute their mics after I read this. These new members have pledged to be full participants in Seaside Toastmasters Club. What do you, the members of Seaside Toastmasters Club, pledge to them? At the count of 3, all Seasiders, kindly unmute your mics and read what you see on the screen. 1, 2, 3.
We the
members of Seaside Toastmasters Club pledge to support your quest for self-development, to provide you with positive, helpful evaluations, to maintain a friendly, supportive atmosphere, to give you opportunities to help others, and to make your Toastmasters membership a rewarding and fulfilling experience.
Thank you very much. Kindly mute your mics back, please.
I'm doing something with sleeves. Oh, it's long sleeve.
Fellow Toastmasters, it is now our duty and privilege to induct these new members into the Seaside Toastmasters Club. This is an important occasion, both for those new members and for our club. These individuals have come to Toastmasters seeking to improve their communication and leadership. And we now have an opportunity to help them learn, grow, and achieve. As the Vice President membership of Seaside Toastmasters Club, and on behalf of the club and Toastmasters International, you're all welcome to the Seaside family. So warm welcome to Toastmasters, where leaders are made. And we hope that you enjoy your journey. We hope that you give your speeches as well. Thank you very much. And I'll hand over back to the Toastmaster of today's meeting, Toastmaster John.
Dear Toastmasters and guests, please can we give Toastmaster Marachi a virtual round of applause? That was a well-handled induction ceremony. For our guests, our first-time Toastmasters, I know you might have been metaglobalized by the chaos when a number of us unmuted our mics. However, that chaos was inundated with love. We are so excited to have these new members here. Now we can bombard them with speeches and tasks. And because they were introduced here, when I reach out to them, this is John Onuminian, Toastmaster of the Day. They will actually pay attention to me. Thank you, VPE, for scheduling the induction today. That is why I love you. You are on point. Now moving on to the table topics portion of the meeting. Are we ready? Put in the chat box, especially our new members. Put in the chat box, because as you say yes, that means you're giving us the go-ahead to pick you to participate in table topics. Chat box, are we ready? Including our guest, Miss San. Put in the chat box, yes, yes. Your permission, put yes in there. Miss San, I'm looking out for your name, by the way. Yes. And our new members. I'm still looking out, yes. Why is no one putting yes except Toastmaster Ruth? Yeah, yes, let me help you see how yes goes, like this. Easy, easy, no stress. Like that. Just type yes. We're waiting. Toastmaster Olivia, I thought we were friends. At least type yes. I'm still waiting. I have this screen. I can wait here all day. My lunch is ready. My family is here. I'm relaxed. I love the faces I'm seeing. Thank you, Toastmaster Francis, for saying over ready on behalf of our guest, Miss San. Love that. Let's move right along. Now I have the privilege of introducing the man that is going to be anchoring the table topics portion. Our table topics master for today is a legal practitioner and managing associate at a law firm in Lagos. He specializes in disputes. He is the immediate past president of Seaside Toastmasters Club and the current program quality director for Division K. Dear Toastmasters and our guests, those of you that typed yes and refused to type, with a virtual round of applause, welcome to our screens, the table topics master, Toastmaster Aaron Onyebuchi. Over to you, Toastmaster Aaron.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster John, the Toastmaster of today, and thank you for such a wonderful job that you have been doing. Congratulations and welcome to our newly inducted new members. Welcome to Seaside Toastmasters Club. I hope that you have a very, very good and wonderful experience with this club. That is my second family. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and our amiable guests. My name is Toastmaster Aaron, and like the Toastmaster of the day said, I will be your table topics master of today. Now, for the benefits of our guests, especially the first-time guests, what really is table topics? Why do we do table topics in Toastmasters? What is its importance? What is its value? Our table topics is a section where we help members practice the art of improvisation. We also help us to learn how to think on our feet. During the table topics section, I've always said that we develop 4 critical communication skills during the table topics section. The first is the listening skill. The second is the thinking skill. The third is the organizing. And the fourth is the delivery. These 4 skills are very important when you need to deliver an impromptu speech or when you need to make a comment that you have not had the opportunity to prepare for. Like we always say, during the course of this meeting, you've seen prepared speeches. Those people prepared for the speech and they delivered. But it is not all the time that you will have the opportunity to deliver, to prepare before you deliver. It could be at a board meeting, it could be at an event where you've been called upon to make a comment or deliver a toast. How do you gather yourself together and deliver a coherent and impromptu speech? The topics I have prepared for us during this section would hopefully help us to become better at delivering speeches on our feet or at improvisation. And since us at Toastmasters Club, we like to maximize every speaking opportunity, this section is not only open to members, it's also open to our guests. Therefore, every member and every guest has the opportunity to participate in this section. I really do hope that you will try to give this a shot. I may randomly call on you, or I may ask you to volunteer yourself to come up the stage by raising your hand. Whichever is the case, I hope when you come here, you understand that this is a platform where we are all trying to grow and that you will do your part. Before I give out the topics, let me just first explain the timing of this section. Now, for everybody that is invited to speak, you have a minimum of 1 minute and a maximum of 2 minutes. Therefore, at the one minute mark, the timer will display the green card. At the 1.5 minute mark, the timer will display the amber card. And at the 2 minute mark, the timer will again display the red card. The red card shows that your time is up and that you have 30 seconds more to round off and discharge yourself honorably from the virtual lectern. I hope we all do understand the timing. The bottom line is you have a minimum of 1 minute and a maximum of 2.5 minutes to deliver a table topic speech on any topic that I will be giving us to discuss on. Having said that, I'd like to first lay the foundation of this section by inviting a Toastmaster, not just a Toastmaster, a club officer, a current club officer, to please volunteer to take the first table topic section. The reason is because our theme for today is leadership, and I will try to infuse that theme into some of the topics that we'll discuss. So having that at the back of our mind, I'm inviting a current leader. We're all leaders, but I'm inviting a current club leader to volunteer themselves to deliver the first table topic section. And I will call you if you don't volunteer. I will call you, I can see you. The only person exempted is Toastmaster Roots, who has delivered the prepared speech. Every other club officer is available to be picked on, including the club president, might I add.
No, I want to nominate Toastmaster Informa. I've not had a voice for a while.
Oh, absolutely. Toastmaster Informa. Is she still here? I can't see her anymore on the call. Toastmaster Informa is no longer here, actually, Mr. President.
Okay, Pamalik have spoken. Okay, let me take the lead since the other ones have all spoken, except Marathi will take a lead.
Absolutely, leading by example. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for volunteering yourself. My first table topics is reflecting on the past 1 year that you have been the club president. Can you tell us one significant way that you have been able to develop yourself that will serve you for the rest of your life?
Thank you very much, our table topic master. Initially, when I was taking this role, sometimes last year, I asked myself, what impact would the role bring to me as an individual, even before the club? But 2-3 months along the line, the biggest impact is the ability to coordinate different people at different locations. As some of you know, I've moved out of Nigeria in September, but yet I have to talk to different members of ESCO as well as the club members for us to be able to achieve our goals. We know we are in the time of COVID. It's online, we call it virtual meetings. How do we ensure we achieve our objective? So the first thing we did is to organize meetings online, set clear goals for every department, if you want to call it, because I see my role as the CEO. So we set clear goals for every department and follow up on that, even develop a dashboard. So for me, the biggest one is the ability to coordinate different people. And my current role today comes with the same thing, having different employees across different countries who you have to coordinate their activities. So the ability to coordinate is a key thing for a leader. And I've grabbed that first from the Seaside Toastmasters Club as the president. Thank you very much.
Please let us give the club president a resounding virtual applause. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for highlighting a very significant skill that you have developed over the past 1 year, the ability to coordinate. It's very, very important for a leader. Okay, so I'll call on the guests. I don't want to waste too much time asking people to volunteer, but Nissan, I heard you speak earlier. I was impressed. I want you to attempt the table topic section. Nissan, are you still here? And can you hear me? Nissan?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. So I'll give you a topic. And like I said, you have a minimum of 1 minute and a maximum of 2 minutes with 30 minutes grace to speak on the topic. And the topic is very simple. Please tell us the last time you undertook a leadership position. The last time you had to, tell us about the last time you had to play a leadership role or you undertook a leadership position.
All right. Hello. So I think the example I'll give today is my current job. So my job actually requires managing multiple vendors and contractors at the same time. The specific example I'll give is back in September. I was in charge of having to deliver a task, and I noticed that the team was demotivated and they felt they were overworked. They had worked more than almost working 24 hours. At that point in time, I thought the best thing to do at that time was to be with them. So I would provide snacks, encourage them, and at some point, actually roll up my sleeves and got my hands dirty in performing that task with them. I feel what that did was it inspired them to continue the work, and they continued until that particular task was finished because it was critical for our project at the time. So again, I think the leadership part that I played there was getting hands-on with them and being relatable, and that encouraged them to complete their work and also finish the task. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the very shy but very confident Ms. Ann, for such a wonderful delivery. And let me just throw it in here. You are allowed to use the word of the day, but I will seek an exception. You know, I don't want to bite my tongue trying to pronounce the big word, but I've learned it. I don't know when I will use it, but I've taken it into my vocabulary. But we are all encouraged to also use the word of the day in delivering our table topic speech. I will call on next Precious. I can say Precious. Precious, are you here? I'm not very sure whether you are a guest, but I'm not familiar with your name, so I will tag you a guest. Are you a guest?
Yes, I'm a guest.
Welcome. So please, you would participate in the table topics section, yes?
Okay.
Okay, so Precious, my topic to you is very simple. Do you usually compare yourself to any leader? If yes, who? If no, why? Do you usually compare yourself to any leader? If yes, who? If no, why?
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, Toastmasters and guests. I had this leader when I started working, and 2 weeks after, I got this mail saying that I had done a transaction when I was still learning how to work, and I was going to face a disciplinary panel. How? I went to my team lead, and my team lead says, I'm not aware. Wow. But you authorized this transaction. And she says, I'm not aware. You have to find how to sort yourself out. And then we take it further to another leader. And he looks at it and he says, oh, fine, a mistake has been made. But what do we do? Bring out all the policies. Let's see whether there's a loophole that we can take advantage of. And he found a loophole, attended this panel on my behalf. Lo and behold, I was acquitted. And I looked at it and I said, one day, I want to be like this leader. I don't want to be like the one that says, oh, I'm not aware, pushing you to, face yourself, face the world by yourself. I want to be a committed leader, passionate to helping people and passionate to growing people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Precious, for such a wonderful delivery. You want to be like that leader that is committed to the follower and not the one that tries to avoid responsibility. Mr. Toastmaster of the day, am I allowed to take one more topic?
The last one, please.
Oh, thank you very much. So can I have a volunteer for the last one? A guest also, a volunteer. Or instead, let me take a new member that has not delivered a speech. Do we have a new member who has not delivered a speech? Toastmaster UK, I see you. You were a guest in the first segment, now you are a new member. Is there a new member who has not delivered a speech? Toastmaster Olivia.
Olivia is an expert. Let's call TM Chinyere.
Okay, TM Chinyere, are you here? Is it Chinyere or Chinoye?
I'm here, Chinyere.
Oh, Chinyere, okay.
So
are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you very much. So my topic to you is, tell us the most sensible thing that you have ever heard about leadership. Tell us the most sensible thing that you have ever heard about leadership.
I will not say there's a particular thing that speaks leadership that's most outstanding for me. Why? Because there have been many things said about leadership, and all of them have various strong attributes about that. But personally, the things that speak to me about leadership I've heard are leaders are people that put themselves forward, people who put themselves in front, people who are compassionate, people who have been listening here. Because what I've seen so far in the leadership space is that you have people who tend to want, or people who want you to say what they want to hear. But I like a leader who is able to hear both the good things and not so good things. A leader who's also diplomatic, a leader who is able to bring the team to share in the common goal. So for me, basically, the strong or the outstanding thing I would say for me when it comes to the strong thing I hear about leadership would be compassionate, a leadership that has depth, that has understanding, a leadership that's ready to be out there to do the work and what it takes. And basically, a leader who is willing to take the lead for the entire team and give direction. And that's for me what stands out when I hear about leaders and leadership. Yeah, so thank you. So I'm not hearing you. I hope I was also heard.
Oh, yes, you were heard. Can we all give Toastmaster Chinyere a resounding applause, please? Thank you very much, Toastmaster Chinyere. And having delivered that speech, we've come to the end of the table topic section. But before I yield the stage, I would just like to make two comments. The first is that I want to encourage us to take every opportunity that we have to develop in speaking. And that is why we have the table topic section during the Toastmasters meeting, to help us deliver impromptu speeches, to help us develop our thinking, our delivery, and our coordination abilities to deliver improvised speeches. The second is that we would all notice that the 4 table topic speakers that spoke on topics related to leadership, but no one person said anything bad about leadership. Not one person said any negative thing about leadership. Therefore, you can never go wrong by undertaking a leadership role. And I would like to encourage us to listen to the call that the president gave to us at the beginning of the meeting, for us to think of ways, as we are going into the next Toastmasters year, for us to think of ways to serve the club. Having said that, thank you very much to all the speakers for agreeing to speak. I now hand the meeting back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster John Onumia.
Thank you so much. Please, can we give Toastmaster Aaron a virtual round of applause? Our timer, did all the table topic speakers keep to time?
Toastmaster of the day, all the speakers kept to time. They spoke within the allotted time.
Thank you so much. Our poll master is going to be putting up a poll. The first speaker was our president, Toastmaster Ibrima. Second speaker was our shy guest, Missan, shy guest. Our third speaker was our long-term guest, Precious. And our final speaker was our new member, Toastmaster Chinyere. Please vote for who you felt was the best table topics speaker. I can see that the poll is up. If you're having any issues, please just send a message in the chat box. And if that's the case, you can't see the poll, you can send a private chat to Toastmaster Malik, the Zoom master, and he'll also add your votes to what was taken by the poll. We need everyone to vote. This is important. Encourage people, participate. This is part of the fun of truly living. You need to be there. Otherwise, you won't fully enjoy the meeting. And the best speaker may not be the person chosen because you did not vote. A few meetings I've attended, people feel, obviously that was the best speaker. But guess what? Because you didn't vote and other people that did the same thing, obviously that's the best speaker, that person actually did not end up being the best speaker because maybe one person got a vote. Just one vote was delivered at that meeting because everyone else thought, obviously the best speaker is winning and they did not vote. We need your votes in. It's fun. It's part of being bold. It's part of leading yourself. It's part of learning to lead others. Well, I do see the votes coming in, and I'm excited about that. Thank you so much. We have 14 of 18 in. 4 people have not voted. Hopefully 15 in. Thank you. We need 3 more if you can. The polls will be closing very, very soon. And while that is going on, I'm now going to introduce the table topics evaluator, a gentleman you have already met today, but he was not properly introduced, so I need to introduce him. For those of you that mistakenly came to this virtual meeting thinking we're going for some Owambe virtual meeting, this is the man at those parties that will be spraying the money because he has lots of it. He's a treasury specialist and a data enthusiast. He's open-minded and has a good sense of humor. He was born in the Gambia and is blessed with a beautiful wife and daughter. Dear Toastmasters and guests, with a virtual round of applause, please welcome to our screens, Toastmaster Pa Malik. Toastmaster Pa Malik, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster John, for that speaking welcome. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. I'm not hearing anyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chair Malik. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. So I'll be the evaluator of the table topic session. Basically, the role of the evaluator is to give feedback to all the speakers in the table topic segment. So I'll start with our first speaker, who is our able president, Toastmaster Ibrahim Sawane. Ibrahim Sawane actually answered the question within time by actually telling us, that key skill or leadership skill that he has done differently this year. That is to coordinate different teams in the Seaside Club Toastmasters to achieve our desired goal. At the beginning of his speech, he repeated the question. That gave him time to actually process what he wants to say and give a good response to the question. He also did some hand gestures, that helps to engage us, the audience, as he's speaking. Hand gestures really help keep your audience really engaged with you. What I would like you to do differently is, I know this is a virtual meeting, so we tend to be looking, at the corners of our screens here and there. But if we can just look at the camera, if you can just look at the camera, that will make your audience feel that you're looking at them. So if you look more on the camera, that will be more engaging. And also to use the word of the day. The word of the day, which is meta-globalized. So I'll encourage you to use the word of the day. Please, let's give Toastmaster Ibrahim Sawane a resounding round of applause for participating in that table topics session. Thank you. The next speaker was our guest, Misan. I heard the Toastmaster today saying our shy guest. I did not see that. Based on the response that she has given, one, her video was on, that shows that she's confident, and two, she accepted the challenge. Just stepping up to accept to speak in any Toastmasters meeting is a big plus, right? It's a win because you have actually overcome a fear of coming in to the public and speak. So well done on that, guest Misan. You've also answered the question within the stipulated time. You had 1 to 2 minutes to speak, and you were able to speak within the above the minimum, which is 1 minute, and within the maximum, which is 2 minutes. And that was something very good. You also answered the question, said by being motivational to the team to execute a task. There was a daunting task you mentioned, and then you showed your leadership skill by motivating the team to overcome that daunting task. What I'd like you to do better is to use the word of the day. You know, in your speech, you didn't mention the word of the day, which is meta-globalized, and also to use hand gestures. Hand gestures help your audience to engage. Because we may be distracted, but by the time you're using hand gestures, you know, just explaining certain things, you get us engaged more to what you're talking about. So that being said, overall, you did a wonderful speech. Let's give a resounding applause to our guest, Misan. Thank you very much. Let's go to our third speaker, who is our guest, Precious. Precious, one thing I like about your speech is you greeted your audience, right? That was something very remarkable. You started off with that. You also answered the question within the time frame. That was something wonderful. You said you are committed to know, you're committed to know your audience, that is to be a better leader. So you need to not just follow, but rather read and understand what you do to become a better leader. That is nicely done. What I would love to see you do differently is to put on your video. As you put on your video, it shows the level of confidence that you have to come, so that we can also see you and see how you interact with us by giving us eye contact, looking on the camera and giving us hand gestures to actually engage with us. So the more, next time, maybe when you're having a speech virtually, try and put on your video, and that would help engage more with your audience. And finally, you didn't use the word of the day, unfortunately. The word of the day is meta-globalized, and it would be lovely to have you infuse the word of the day in your speech. But overall, you did a wonderful speech, and you were very confident in stepping up to the challenge. Let's give a resounding applause to our guest, Precious. Thank you very much. So to our final speaker, who is a Toastmaster, a new member of Seaside Toastmaster Chinere, congratulations on taking the bold step to accept the challenge. That is something remarkable. Your video was on, that shows confidence that you're ready to speak. You overcome that fear of coming into the public to speak. Well done on that. You also answered the question asked by the table topics master, and you answered it within time. Your points were well stated as you kept repeating some of the key points that can make you a good leader. And what would have liked you to do differently was to look more into the camera, like to be more engaging. You were looking at, you kind of look distracted by looking sideways here and there. So the more you look into or focus on the camera, that shows your audience that you're looking at them, and that helps engage more with your audience. The use of the word of the day, you didn't use the word of the day. I would have loved to hear the word of the day, meta-globalized, and that would have really scored you more points if you had used the word of the day. But overall, you did very well, and I hope to hear more from you. And well done. Let's give a resounding round of applause to our speakers. Now to the general, I'll hand over to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, the Table Topics Evaluator. Please, can we give him a virtual round of applause? Now we're moving on to the last portion of today's meeting, the evaluation portion of the meeting. And it's my delight to hand over to the General Evaluator for this meeting. Welcome him to our screens in person of Toastmaster Ayola Fadeyi. Toastmaster Ayola, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, the Toastmaster of the day, for the coordination so far. It's my pleasure to welcome the TMO, John Onumia, to give the grammarian. Tim John.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, our General Evaluator. Now I'll be giving my report as the grammarian for today. The following people used the word of the day. Toastmaster Ayola used it 3 times that I caught. Toastmaster Abayomi, the timer, used it twice. Toastmaster Marachi used it once. Toastmaster Pamalik pretended to use it by saying the speakers did not use it. I did not count that for you, Toastmaster Pamalik. I'm sorry, I did not. Toastmaster of the day used it 8 times, and the chat box was inundated with the use of the word, mainly thanks to Toastmaster UK, who was trying to metabolize most of us by claiming first he was a guest, claiming he's a new member. I don't know what he was trying to do, but that put some life in the chat box and the use of the word of the day. Well done. Some phrases I loved. When the president described human beings as complex social beings, I thought there was something beautiful about that. We are complex social beings. Nice one. I loved when a speaker said, when he needs to flog you, because flog was appropriately used there. Sometimes we think flog is more of a slang, but no, flog, to use a whip or a cane to beat someone. Well used. I love that. Some things I'll recommend that we work upon. Someone said, in fact, for the fact, you can use other words or phrases as a result of the fact, due to the fact. Another one to work on, I was shook to the bone. I was shocked to the bone. A few people mentioned gestures. It should be gestures, not no, gestures, gestures. A number of people pronounced evaluate as evaluate, not e. A speaker said, you have done very wonderful. Wonderful is an adjective. It describes a noun or modifies a noun. You have done a wonderful job. You have delivered a wonderful speech. A noun needs to be there when you're using the word wonderful. A speaker mentioned newly inducted new members. There's no need for the new afterwards. It's tautology. In pronunciation, develop. It should not be develop. It should be develop. D, not de. A phrase that was used that should be amended, whichever is the case, it's whatever the case or whatever the case may be. A speaker also pronounced theme as team. Please, is theme. And those are the only things I'll mention for now because of time. Therefore, I hand back control to the general evaluator of the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Ayola.
Yes, thank you very much, our honorable report. You have not meta-globalized us in your speech. Here is my honor to welcome to the virtual lecture to give our TM Aisha. You have the virtual lecture.
Thank you so much, TM Ayola. I can say that our speakers were not meta-globalized because most people did not use a lot of pause fillers. However, I will go ahead and give a report of those that did. So TM Olumideko used Postfillers twice, TM Kingsley used it 5 times, TM Malik 3 times, TM Oluchi once, guest Misan 4 times, guest Precious did not at all, which was impressive, and TM Chinyere once. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, TM Aishat, for giving us the report. Next, we move on to the timekeeper of the day, TM Abayomi Adekale Adegbite, to give his timekeeper's report.
Thank you, Master Ayola, the general evaluator for the day. The speakers across various segments spoke within the allotted time. For the prepared speeches segment, TM Ibrahim Ajani spoke for 6 minutes, 42 seconds. TM Ruth Akuka spoke for 7 minutes, 18 seconds. For the evaluation segment, TM Folu Olumideko spoke for 2 minutes, 28 seconds, while TM Kingsley for 2 minutes, 9 seconds. For the table topic segment, TM Ebrima spoke for 1 seconds. Guest Misa spoke for 1 minute, 5 seconds. Guest Precious spoke for 1 minute, 18 seconds. And TM Chiri spoke for 1 minute, 28 seconds. Overall, everybody, like I said, spoke within the allotted time, which is a good sign of discipline, Toastmaster. To you, the general evaluator.
Thank you very much. It is very heartwarming that we are doing well on time. Now I will give my own evaluation of the entire meeting. I will start with what really happened before the meeting. All role players were accounted for, and role players that were not present or either waiting were replaced immediately, so that we would have a smooth running of the meeting, and guests were even welcomed before the meeting. During the meeting, we started exactly at 1 p.m. And thanks to TM Pamalik for streaming us live on YouTube. At least for this meeting, it is assured that anytime, any day, we could always access the meeting. Every speaker put up their video while speaking to make sure that the evaluation were very detailed and we all could appreciate the context of the evaluators. And the speakers, for the prepared speeches section, it started quite on time. I've been to several Toastmasters meetings, and what I have observed is that the prepared speech section usually starts like 30 minutes after the meeting started proper. And in this case, we've done well. We started about the prepared speech started about 1:28 p.m. There were just 2 speeches given, one from TM Ibrahim Ajani and the other from TM Ruth Akuka. These speeches were replete with lessons on leadership. Kudos to the speakers. The Toastmaster of the day did a fantastic job by relating stories and comments to the speeches, giving life to them. On the evaluation section, the evaluators, TM Folu Olumideko and TM Kingsley Madu, put up a detailed speech objective before the speakers came on board. And what this did was to prepare the minds of the audience to accept the speeches. We also had an induction, which was shared by Tim Amarachi. Tim Amarachi, I must commend you that you did very, very well. I mean, your pace, your diction, everything was quite on point. And that did not elude the Toastmaster of the day. Of course, that is evident from his comment. You shared your screen and were able to follow you through while we were introducing the new members, and even share the screen as we recite the Toastmaster promise and what the new members read out as their promise to the club too. On the table topics, TM Aaron Onyebuchi, the table topics master, thank you very much. You set the tone, the theme, or the topics that you gave us were on point, in line with the theme of the meeting, which is leadership. You employed methodology which is nomination, That is, you expect that somebody from the meeting nominates somebody else. But when you observe that this could waste some time, you could be switched to volunteerism, which of course saves us some time. Then I learned something big from our president, who was also a speaker during the table topic section, which was that the ability to coordinate people is what he has learned so far in this leadership journey. I also like the fact that you called on guests to give speeches. What are my concluding remarks? It's very evident that all the audience were well engaged. We are well responsive when the Toastmaster says, do this, or the speaker says, do this. We are responsive on the chat and even during the meeting. Everybody spoke on the call except for 2 people. I did monitor that. Despite that, we have 4 different sessions, from the prepared speeches to the evaluations to the induction and to the table topics. We did well on time. Let's keep the pace, let's keep this going, and let's maintain the quality of the meeting we had today and even do better next time. Thank you. It's nice being here. Over to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Please, can we give the general evaluator a virtual round of applause? Dear Toastmasters and guests, before we round off, and Timer, you especially, although you've confirmed, just to reiterate, all evaluators kept to time, correct? That's the first and second evaluators for the prepared speeches, because we're actually going to vote for who we felt was the better evaluator as I hand over to the president. Timer, just to reiterate, even though he said, I do believe I heard him say everyone kept to time at this meeting. The poll can go up. If the timer wants to dispute that, he can, but the poll can go up, putting the names of the 2. Oh, Toastmaster Pamalik, are we putting you there as well for 4 evaluations? Please go ahead, go ahead. I see our VPE nodding her head. She has power over me, so go ahead. Yes, please. Vote.
Thank
Who
you.
you felt was the best speaker, or best evaluator, excuse me. Toastmaster Folu that evaluated the first speaker, Toastmaster Ibrahim Ajani, Toastmaster Kingsley Madu, who evaluated our Vice President Education, Toastmaster Ruth, and Toastmaster Pa Malik that had the privilege of evaluating a bevy of speakers, shy or otherwise. Please vote. As that's being said, or as we're concluding on the votes, I would love to say thank you. It's been a delight playing the role of the Toastmaster of the day. I always tell people this is the easiest job, especially when you have competent men and women like yourselves who are engaged. People were using the reaction buttons. People were typing in the chat box. Come on. How is it possible not to have fun as the Toastmaster of the day? I love the prepared speeches. I love the table topics portion. And even though I am saddened that the meeting is coming to an end, I'm excited that it was a great success. If you're not a member, I would love to have you as a member. Nissan, our guest, Precious, our guest. I'll end with this quote by Jack Welch. Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. At Toastmasters, you learn to grow yourself and grow others. Now I'll hand over to a leader I am following, a leader I would love to follow, and a leader I'll continue to follow. The president of Seaside Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Ebrima. Please, can we welcome him to our screens with a virtual round of applause? Toastmaster Ebrima, over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster John. Sorry, my video was on. Thank you very much, Toastmaster John. As usual, you always received our calls when you call on me to play the role of the Toastmaster of the day, and you did wonderful. Please, let's clap Toastmaster John. Wonderful job. And all the other role players, including Toastmaster UK, who is our new guest of today's meeting, the guest of honor, I'll put it that way. Toastmaster UK, thank you very much for coming here again. We've missed you, it's been a while. Toastmaster Aaron, welcome back. I think for the past 2 meetings you've been coming active, but what I admire about you is like you are growing younger. Maybe whether it's marriage, so Madam is doing a very good job. Please tell her we love to keep more of this. All the other role players, our inducted members, welcome once again formally with our ESCO members for the wonderful job done. I saw Toastmaster Amarachi did very well. Toastmaster Ruth, welcome back on the Latin again for the wonderful job you've done there, Ibrahim. Today's meeting on the part of leadership was very important for us, and we'll continue to pursue this theme. And we've seen our leaders playing active role. Almost all the role players today are from ESCO, whether it's from delivering the speech or playing Toastmaster Ayola, Toastmaster Malik, all these are ESCO members. And that's the kind of leadership we always talk about. You can only do it by the attitude, by acting on it. Without much ado, we have a very important speaker coming up. So before I end the meeting, I thought it would be better we change the agenda a bit, because I have my boss in town. So when you have your boss in town, you have to behave in an orderly manner. Maybe that's why ESCO pick up the various rules. Our area director, I always call her a superwoman. And you will agree with me if I give you just a brief intro about her. She is a Toastmaster, a very passionate Toastmaster. She virtually brought up and make it stable the AWN Toastmasters Club. That's formerly called the Access Bank Women Toastmasters Club. She's a banker. You know how busy bankers are. But apart from that, she's taken 2 or 3 roles in the current Toastmasters here. I will add 3 more because I know she has lovely kids that you will see sometimes appear in meetings. But even with that, anytime you send a message to her, 10 p.m., 10 a.m., she will respond. She is truly a leader who is passionate about Toastmasters activities in and beyond this club. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest, this is our boss, our area director. Please, let's welcome our area director, guest.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rima, for that very endearing introduction. Good afternoon, Seaside Toastmasters Club. Let me say Happy New Year to everyone here. And, well, a belated Happy Workers' Day to everyone as well. I'm super excited to be here today. First, because I'm still celebrating Seaside Toastmasters. Who wants to know why I'm celebrating the club? Is anybody interested to know? If you don't want to know, I'll just go on.
10 over 10. 10 over 10.
You are interested, let's go.
Right. For me, it's not just about the 10 over 10, because I know for Seaside Toastmasters, it's not strange to you to achieve 10 over 10. But the fact that we achieved it in record time, that is something worth emulating by other clubs. I stand to be corrected, but Seaside Toastmasters was the first club in Division F to achieve the perfect 10 in this Toastmasters mandates. So I want to say congratulations to Seaside Toastmasters and a humongous thank you to everyone who has put in the work required to ensure that we achieve these feats. Trust me, it's not easy, especially in this age where we don't see. I mean, we see virtually, we engage on the virtual notes, and you would agree with me that it's harder to achieve desired goals and objectives because you're not seeing the person. I could call up somebody on the phone, he or she is there, like, whatever, you're not going to see me anyway. We're just going to talk on phone, and that is it. But Seaside has made my job as an area director a very seamless one. It's been easy. It's almost as though I've been cruising this year. And indeed I have. So thank you so much to everyone who has put in the work required. I appreciate every one of you. But then you know that it's said that the reward for hard work is more work. We need to continue. Especially now that we have a new baby on the way. Seaside is pregnant, heavily pregnant. I'm sure what? We're almost at labor time, correct? Seaside is about going into labor. So we need to make sure that we equip ourselves with all the energy we need so that when you hear the word push, you push with all your strength and ensure that our baby comes out healthy and bouncing. I'm delighted because it is in my tenure that Seaside is betting on new club. Okay, I mean, this is wow. It's been a long time coming, and I want to appreciate the executives of Seaside Toastmasters, the past presidents, who keyed into this vision of betting a new club. To all the members who have taken up that challenge to be in the new club, to take on leadership roles in the new club, thank you. Today is all about leadership. And just like Toastmaster Aaron said, you can never go wrong with leadership. Everybody who spoke, they had something positive and something inspiring and encouraging to say about leadership. So keep up the good work. We're almost at the end of my tenure. We definitely will not relax. We'll keep pushing to ensure that whoever is going to come on board is going to have maybe not a bed of roses to start on, but something that he or she would be able to continue with. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, once again, thank you from me on behalf of the Area 16 Area Council. Let me leave you with the words of Lao Tzu, a Chinese philosopher who said that a leader is best when people barely knows that he exists, such that when his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say, we did it ourselves. I am sure, I'm just here as a figurehead, correct? The work was done by Seaside Toastmasters and the other clubs in Area 16. But when it comes to take the shine, I will show up and I'll take the shine on behalf of everybody. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for going on this journey with me. Thank you for believing in me and giving me all your support. For some persons, this mandate is probably the first time we had interacted, but I promise you, the lessons I have learned, the support I've received is something that would stay with me for a long time to come. I've never had cause to worry with respect to Seaside. Each time I call on the executive, I drop a chat for the club president, or I call on Toastmaster Ruth or Toastmaster. The response, the feedback has always been supportive, and I appreciate that. Keep pushing, keep striving. Let's keep blazing the trail for other clubs in the division to follow. I want Seaside to be a shining star. That even in the district, when we come and call the best club in District 94, Seaside will be the first club that comes to the mind of everybody. Thank you so much, and I wish everyone the very best. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, our able director, Toastmaster Chidi, for that wonderful word of advice. And as you could see, she's humble. She did lots of work behind the scene because that's always been her guidance, support. We're able to move the same thing to our members, but some people are known to be humble naturally. So she's one of those people you probably meet in the Toastmasters family. Without much ado, we have a few announcements as usual. We have our awards and we have some important club announcements. I think I will start with the club announcements. We have our annual election as well as annual business meeting coming up on the 29th of this month at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. online. This is an opportunity for us to elect new members as well as the current ESCO to give feedback on the activities they have done during this Toastmasters year. Please, we encourage all members to come on board, particularly in the area of nominating yourself. Because it's good to nominate somebody, but I want you to nominate yourself. Remember, leadership is about attitude, and attitude is only when you act. So it's important you pick up one responsibility in the ESCO and say, this is what I want to do. Because when somebody puts you there, it's different. But when you challenge yourself, you are able to do it more than if somebody put you there. Please nominate someone or yourself, but I prefer yourself. So you can send email to Toastmaster Aaron and myself. We are the election, or you can call it INEC of this year's election. The second one, we want to congratulate our members. Like our director said, this is one of the periods where Seaside moved with a big momentum. We had for a long time somebody not participating at the divisional level contest, but this year we had people who went all the way to the divisional level contest. I know Toastmaster Amarachi went, Toastmaster Ebube went, and the area level there was Ibrahim, there was Toastmaster Ayola. But congratulations to all of them and the members of Seaside Toastmasters Club. Again, it is possible. Some of these people may be doubting. I forgot Toastmaster Graham or Luchi, my friend. She would kill me if she forgot her name. But all of these members did very well, and they moved all the way to the divisional level competition, which was very good for us and for them as individuals. We move on to our results for today's election. Today is a very, sorry, I'm saying election is voting, but anyway, voting and election are, why is my screen not sharing? I had a very funny result, something I've never seen before, but you will agree with me very soon. Okay, so we start with the, let me put on full mode. We'll start with the best in table topic, guest precious. Guest precious. Now the best evaluator is the funny part. The best evaluator, all the evaluators. We had 12 votes and each of them decided to vote for. They didn't share it equally among all of them. That's why they didn't put anybody's name. So we are going to share a certificate among all of them. So thank you, Toastmaster Mali. You can see it on the screen. We had 12, 4 for each. So we give all of them a certificate. So this is something very funny. So I couldn't believe it, but it happens. So this is the advantage of democracy. Last but not the least is the best speaker. Congratulations, our able DPE, Toastmaster Ruth. Congratulations. You could see it. It was like the evaluator said, Toastmaster Madu said, you could see the passion in you. And personally for me, I feel connected to you when you gave this into your dad who is late. So I could feel at that moment, I could feel you almost want to cry because you remember this great man and you use him as your example. This is the power of stories. When you tell stories that relate to you, nobody will tell you to use emotions. It comes naturally. So let's tell our own stories because they make us much more stronger. Congratulations, Toastmaster Ruth. Once again, Toastmasters and guests, thank you very much for attending today's meeting. Let's all of us come out on the 29th for the election and listen to the feedback from our escorts as well as elect our new officers. Without much ado, I want to tell you, thank you for joining us, and don't forget about the theme of this month's meeting, which is leadership. And I will use Toastmaster Aaron's word, you can never get it wrong if you do leadership. Thank you very much, and have a nice weekend. Toastmaster Bobo, there's a new Toastmaster there, I can see. Bobo.
Bobo, say hello. Hello.
How are you? I could hear her